What's up, my people? Welcome to Vertical Football. Welcome to another episode of 5 Things We Learned. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 0. The final of the Europa League. I think first and foremost, I must say in this spirit of gamemanship or sportsmanship, we have to say a big congratulations to Tottenham Hotspur. I think in my own view of the Premier League, I have to say that one of the things that I've admired from afar in terms of there's this calmness, there is this spirit of sportsmanship, from outside. It has always been Tottenham, and I'm happy for them in one side because they won the Europa League. But also, as a Manchester United fan, you're not happy. But I think for a lot of Man United fans, if we want to be honest, one side of our mind did not expect that we'll win. But it wouldn't be bad also if you could win the Europa League to put a very beautiful end to a very, very terrible season. But it didn't happen that way. So guys, just take it as it comes. It is what it is, really. And I think we just have to look forward. So guys, let's go into it. 5 things that we learned in the Tottenham versus Manchester United match. So today's episode is going to be a different angle because I believe there are 5 things that we have to learn in this final match. And these 5 things are not just what happened in the game alone. I think it's about what happened in the game, but also it's an indication to what has been happening before in the past and how we need to tackle it immediately going forward. And I think the first thing is the lineup. I think Amorim got a lot of things right in the way he lined up. But I think there were 2 mistakes that I saw at the beginning. I was like, this is going to be a mistake. And some way you can look at it and say, should we blame him? Is it his fault? And that way you can look at it and say, it's his fault. In the sense of starting Rasmus Højlund, I think, I understand the need for Amorim to play with a striker that can hold the ball up when there's a long ball from the defense to the striker to hold the ball up and let other players play in. But, and with the injury that happened to Zexi, I know it's in a tight situation and there is no player that can come in and play that role and be physical enough to withstand the likes of Romero and Verdeven. I understand that, but we have to say it that that decision to start Rasmus Højlund in one way was not the right decision. Because yes, Rasmus Højlund had some little moments where he held the ball. But over this season, you've seen that he can't perform that role. And we've said it many times on the podcast. I'm still going to say that I believe he should leave the club. That's Rasmus Højlund. I think the second mistake he made in the lineup also is the fact of putting Bruno Fernandes deep this match. I think this match is the final game. You want Bruno to be in front as much as possible. I thought the preferred situation would be to use the likes of Ugarte and the likes of Casemiro. But that decision, and I felt Bruno wasn't Bruno today. A lot of misplaced passes. He was a second slow in his thinking, and a lot of his balls were easily read by the Tottenham midfielders or the Tottenham players. So I think the issue we have to look at in that situation moving forward is that we have been clamoring for a striker. I believe we're in a situation where we've not actually bought a striker. We after the likes of Rooney, after the likes of Van Persie, we went ahead to get the likes of Zlatan, which was like a free transfer, the best for us. But when you look down that line, we've not actually gone out to get a proper striker. And I believe we have to do this if you want to move forward. So it's a problem we've had in the past. It's a problem that occurred today. No perfect striker, no physical striker, no dominating striker. And if we are not careful, it's a problem that could affect us moving forward. The second point quickly is our lack of penetration. I think we pass the ball around. You would have a feeling that maybe we're dominating. And in one sense, you can look at it because of how compact Tottenham were. You can say, okay, this is compact, maybe, but reality is in finals, you have these things like this. When someone scores a goal, they go back and be compact. And I've always said it in the past, even during the Ferguson days. Just the Ferguson days, we just had a way of breaking down defenses. But after the Ferguson days, even till now, we don't have the ability to play ball centrally and to break down teams. I saw some good movement today, but we need to solve this problem. It's a problem that has been lingering for so long. We need to be able to pierce in centrally. Enough of this wing play. Enough of this wing play. I know Manchester United has been used for wing play, but can we please add to our arsenal? Arsenal is even the wrong word to use now, because Arsenal is not Arsenal in anything. But back to the discussion. Can we please improve our weapons? To be able to hurt teams centrally, to be able to have players that are technical, good on the ball, can play in the tight spaces and hurt teams centrally. We need to do that. I think so that is this our lack of penetration. And when I want to look at that lack of penetration, I also want to tackle the midfield. We have not seriously made any solid improvements in our midfield. For since Alex Ferguson left, I want to say this, and maybe I might be corrected. I know we brought in the likes of Bruno Fernandes. We spent big on Pogba. We got Matic, who was, in my opinion, a good servant for the club. But I feel we've made, and the likes of Herrera, the likes of Fred were amazing servant. Mata was an amazing servant. If you want to put Mata as a midfielder because of the way he played at Man United, but I think when you want to look, we've made a lot of average signings. And even the players I mentioned, maybe apart from likes of Bruno, the many have just been decent. Herrera, maybe a little bit more than decent. Fred, you can say a little tiny bit above decent according to his last season. But these are average players. We need to develop our midfield. We need to develop our midfield to have different profiles. The physical, the technical. We need to develop our midfield. We need to have, Manchester United needs to have a modern kind of midfield. And when I look at the modern kind of midfield, I look at, for example, one of the examples of a modern kind of midfield, the PSG midfield of Fabian Ruiz, the PSG midfield of João Neves, the PSG midfield of Vitinha. We need a modern midfield. We don't have that. And I think it's one of the problems we've not had, one of the problems we've not been able to solve over the years. The third point is on Amorim. I don't want to, please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say things against Amorim. I'm not trying to complain. We've lost the final. There's nothing that can be done. But I'm just trying to look at it that what we need to improve on moving forward. I believe Amorim, and I've said this many times, people came from me, but I keep saying it, Amorim is inexperienced. And one of the signs to show that someone is inexperienced is when they are too fixed in their ways and when they cannot adapt to the situation. Now, what am I trying to say? Now, you are leading 1-0 in the final of the Europa League. I think, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, I think this is the first final for European competition he has been in. So maybe you can excuse him for being naive. But I think as a football fan, you understand that when someone is leading you 1-0 in the final of the Europa League, you have to risk it. And what do I mean? What do I mean risk it? Why you play with 3 centre backs? I watched a documentary of Alex Ferguson when he was talking about how that late goals would come. And one of the things he said was his ability to gamble, his ability to risk it. You're really losing, my friend. 2-0 doesn't make any sense. 2-0, 1-0 in the final is the same thing. It's the same thing. You lost the final. Why are you still playing 3 centre backs? Why are you still using Shaw? Why are you still using what they call it, Maguire? Why are you still using Euro? You should have at least taken one of them. Maybe taking Shaw out. Or remove what they call it. Remove Shaw. I think Shaw would have been the best to remove because Dogo was still energetic. Sure, remove person and put in a forward. You should have put in the likes of Kobe Mainoo earlier. Kobe Mainoo, I might be mistaken, but a lot of our comebacks in the past 2 years have occurred after Kobe Mainoo came into the pitch. You might call me superstitious, you might call me, what are you trying to say? But even I think even the last match against I think Lyon against Athletic, we saw that Kobe Maino, or maybe one of those games, maybe Lyon, yes, Lyon. Kobe Maino, when he comes in, something happens. Either maybe directly from him in terms of goals, which we have seen, or it's just his presence and his movement and his ability to deal in front of the post. Why is Dalot coming in a game where you need to get a goal? Dalot did well, don't mistake me. But why is Dalot having to come in earlier than Kobe Maino? These are questions. We have to ask questions. I understand that some fans might say he came middle of season. I get it. But these are obvious mistakes that I would not want to see next season. These are obvious baby mistakes. You need a goal. One of the best players that you can trust in front of the goal. The best player on that bench you can trust for a goal. You might not believe me. It's Kobe Maino. Even Kobe Maino is more assured of a goal than Joshua Zexi. If you want to be honest with ourselves, why is Kobe Maino being brought in later on? Yeah, these are obvious issues. And I believe he needs to improve. Ruben Amorim needs to wake up. This is Manchester United. This is not Sporting Lisbon. Wake up. Don't be fixed in your ways. Adapt to the situation. React positively. He has to improve. I hope he improves. And that's why I'm saying it. I hope he improves. I hope he becomes more matured. I hope he gets experience moving forward. So, guys, sorry, I just believe he has to do that. He has to do better. The fourth one, I think, his desire. I think his desire. I want to say they tried, but in the final, you don't try, you win. You know, and we didn't win. But I even while we were playing, I still sense that the players did not want it. They did not want it. I want to say something. I don't think any team that I even played today between Tottenham and Man United wanted it. In terms of the way I want to see a team want it. But Tottenham did their job. They got the win, and congrats to them. Man United did not want it. And it was very obvious. It was very obvious. And maybe sometimes when you lose too much, maybe sometimes you get used to losing. And even as fans, it's not that painful. I have to be very honest with you. I feel nothing. We are used to losing. Yeah, it's a final, a cup. We don't care. We are used to losing. And I don't want. We are fans. Our mood can easily change, but I don't want the players to be used to losing. And I feel these players, a lot of them are used to losing. No, it's another loss. Yeah, it's a final, but it's another loss. And that's where the big problem comes in terms of, yeah, you're going to buy the likes of Kunha, you're going to buy the likes of whoever is going to be a striker. But the players that they are going to meet, are they winners? Do they want to win? Or they're just comfortable with losing? I think we have to tackle that. It has happened in the past, but I feel now it's a crisis situation in terms of, I feel our players are used to losing. And the fifth, Andre Onana. I don't want to single him out, but because I really might not want to blame him for the goal. All I might just want to ask for that goal is because it's not the one to be blamed really. But what I want to, I'm not blaming him, but what I want to just ask is, can I get, maybe I'm asking for too much, but looking at what David De Gea did, which I also apologize because I said some things about him when he left. You know, I am used to seeing goalkeepers produce magic. At least goalkeeper helping the team. We saw that a lot of times. Vicario did some amazing moves today. We are used to seeing goalkeepers help their team out. Goalkeepers save their team. Man United is we that need to save our keeper. Our keeper doesn't save us. Any goal, and you hear teams even publicly saying it, that all you need to do is to just shoot the ball at the post. This is terrible. For a team that is still struggling in all departments, we cannot still boast of a safe hands in the goal. I think we have to say the way it is. It has been good doing business with Andre Onana, and others. A lot of players have to leave this club. We have some players that are doing well, and that we need to keep, but a lot of players need to leave. So guys, let me quickly just give a big shout out to some amazing boys that show us you know that there's going to be a future. I think give credit and shout out to Euro. Euro was amazing. Dogu was fantastic. In my opinion, I want to say, I believe Dogu, in my opinion, was the best Man United player today. Yeah, I feel Ahmad was decent. It's not easy. Everybody knows Ahmad is the threat and the way they marked him and everything. I feel Bruno, as I said, Bruno had some mistakes in the game. So I feel the likes of Yoro, Dogu, Mazaraoui was just there. So guys, this the 5 things we learned from Tottenham versus Manchester United. Tottenham won, Manchester United nil. Manchester United fans will see a lot of time. I know it has been long. We recorded 5 things, but you know we'll be losing and we can't come here and be repeating the same things really. But we lost again today. So let's take it up in the chin and let's look forward to next season. See you next time. Bye.